Coming up, how my plumber screwed me and why you should trust nobody when it comes to business.
This is Restaurant Deal.
Alright guys, well, since I haven't had a haircut since January because of this COVID BS, I've decided to go ahead and submit my entry to Secret Window 2, starring Johnny Depp as me. The only thing that matters is the ending. It's the most important part of every story. Just kidding, guys. Seriously, I haven't got a haircut since January, and I think hairdressers are just opening up right now, but mine is at the gym, and the gym ain't open yet. And in the restaurant business, I don't have the luxury of making appointments for those things that really don't matter. I got other appointments for things that do matter. So when it comes to haircuts, I'm stopping by and be like, hey, you got time? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, I'll see you next week. And that's how my life goes when it comes to silly things like haircuts and massages, or washing your car, or paying your bills. Just kidding. All right, so let's get into today. We're going to talk about why you can't trust anybody. So, take a look. What's up, guys? We're going to take a look at this plumbing bullshit that I had to deal with. A couple of guys used to help me next door. Seemed to be fairly reliable. They'd come and clean the lines and general maintenance. Seemed like decent plumbers. And he was a Goomba like myself, so I shook his hand and gave him this job. Well, as you're about to find out, that was a big mistake, and hope you'll learn from my lesson is never do business on a handshake. So let's take a look. So it wasn't the biggest job, but they were laying lines from the kitchen all the way to the bar area over here. They didn't have to cut the concrete, and they didn't have to dig. So the only thing they had to do was lay the pipe. These things were completely trenched out and cleared for them. They were just laying the pipe. So it's not the most difficult pipe. It's PEX, which is plastic, basically. You connect it together like Legos. And if I would have known the codes, I could have looked up the codes and said, it's got to have a fall of X amount. But really, I hired these guys to draw the plans and just to make sure everything was perfect. I'm not a plumber, so I paid for it. And this job should have taken probably 2 weeks at most. I'm sure that some professionals might even say less. But it did take 3 months, and it's still not finished. Well, it never got finished, rather. So let me show you where it ended. Okay. So this is one of the bathrooms, and this is what raised my concern and made me finally realize. Now, there was multiple reasons for concern. The amount of time it was taking, I would bring it up and they would give me excuse after excuse. Dudes smoking in my building, which isn't a federal offense, or maybe it is, I don't know, but kind of pissed me off, and that's neither here nor there. It just shows his unprofessionalism. Not showing up all the time, not showing on time, me having to chase after them for updates and progress. Shit like that should have been clear signs that, red flags for sure. But I guess I'm a pushover or something, too nice of a guy. I listen to people's excuses, and and I took the bait. But when I finally saw that bathroom, and I'm watching this guy struggle on this bathroom, this one bathroom, for easily 2 weeks, and he says stuff to me. He comes in one day and he's like, he starts asking me questions about plumbing, and then I start asking him questions back because I'm like, why don't you know this? And he says this to me one day, and I was just like, what? He says, yeah, I was in line at the plumbing store, and I asked the guy in front of me, if this was the right pipe, so I know it's the right pipe. And I was just like, what? What are you talking about? Like I'm paying you $20,000 for this. You damn well better know it's the fucking right pipe. Are you kidding me? So it was at that point I reached out to his boss, the guy I actually hired and the guy I actually expected to be here, but was never here. He just sent one of his minions out. But I reached out to him and was like, hey, dude, and this guy made me all sorts of more promises, came down and threw his weight around to his guys and, assured me that shit was going to be taken care of. Well, then there was this. I get a phone call from the building department, and they said to me, we haven't received your plans, and we hear that you're doing construction at your place. And I said, well, yeah, I'm doing construction where we're doing some plumbing. How come you don't have plans? And he's like, we don't have plans and you don't have a permit. And I said, oh, okay, let me look into that. So I talked to my guy and I said, hey, I just was told you don't have a permit yet. And he played stupid. And he blamed it on one of his guys. And he says, oh, my guy's working on it right now. And I'm like, okay. And that put me off as well. They put me off for another 2 weeks on that one. And I guess, I'm an idiot. Lesson learned, hopefully. Dude puts me off. He shows me he's drawing the plans. And then one day he finally just shows me the plans. He's got them drawn on a freaking, like a large paper napkin, like sketched out. I was like, huh? And a week later, he has them now on like a piece of notebook paper. I was like, well, at least we've upgraded, right? It was at that point I was just like, okay, here, let me put some plans on a computer for you and print out like at least the measurements of everything here because you're obviously having a hard time. He takes those from me and he doesn't even use my plans, which would have been better than what he submitted. And he literally submits like a folded up 8.5 by 11 piece of paper to the city, drawn in pencil. The building inspector then calls me up and he says, and I quote, what the fuck is this? What the fuck am I looking at? And I was like, I don't know. I'm sorry. They told me that their plans were going to be good. And it was because I had agreed to a owner builder permit that these plumbers took advantage of me and basically fucked me. I called them out on it. The building department shut me down. They stopped all construction. That was 2 years ago. And I talked to the plumber and he made a big excuse and then he dropped off the face of the planet. I haven't seen this guy since. He owes me $20,000. When I do see him, I'm going to get my $20,000. But in the meantime, don't make that mistake. So I got another contractor we're working with here, and I'm hoping that that doesn't go the same way. Let's hope I learned my lesson. And now, your hot tip of the week.
That's hot.
Alright guys, this is the subject of our video today, but I just gotta drive this one home. Doing business on a handshake is a no-go. It's a hard lesson that I continue to learn to this day, but you've gotta have everything written down. You've gotta put pen to paper and make sure every little detail is accounted for. If you're working with a contractor, you need to know what the job is going to be, what materials is going to be, who pays what, and when that job is going to be done. Started and done. Otherwise, you open yourself up to a world of hurt, loopholes galore. And in this world, especially in California, loopholes are where it's at. I've had the unpleasant experience of having customers, employees, contractors, and just people in general find each and every loophole they can, do whatever they can to fucking find something and fuck me. So what it comes down to is people are only looking out for themselves. They're always looking out for number one, and that ain't you. So you're gonna cover your ass because you're the only one that will. And it don't matter where they came from. It doesn't matter what you've done for them. It doesn't matter how close you are to them. It doesn't matter. The old adage of, what have you done for me lately? What have you done for me lately? Yeah. I mean, I had a dishwasher, and I found out he was walking to work, and that's all well and fine. Except when winter rolls around and it's raining and it's snowing. Yeah, we get snow up here. But it's cold and it's shitty. And he's walking to work. And he's going home at 1, 2 in the morning. And I was like, man, dude's making, minimum wage. It's a minimum wage job, you know what I mean? And so I bought him a bike. Bought him a brand new bike so he could get back and forth to work. Didn't ask for anything, just, I was like, hey man, he was a good worker, he was a solid employee, he always showed up, he did me right, so I did him right. I bought him a brand new bike. Then I even gave him a promotion. Promoted him up to prep cook. All of a sudden, he's the highest paid prep cook in Sacramento, absolutely. He's making bank as a prep cook. Then his bike got stolen. I was like, oh man, what? So it was a Christmas present, but I gave him another brand new bike for Christmas. But this time I bought him a big old industrial lock for it too. So I said, hey, if you need to, you can even just lock it up inside my house, in my building, and keep it there. I took care of him is the point. Well, a little while passes, and now it's time for him to move on. He's feeling like he's not feeling appreciated, and that's a whole nother story. But I'm not appreciating this guy. I love this guy. He's like family. He's been with me for 5 years, and that's a long time in the restaurant business. And I'm just like, okay, doing my thing, and for whatever reason, he's feeling unappreciated. So he leaves. Well, he quits. First, he gives me a ration of shit. He starts bitching and moaning, and then he quits. But when he quits, he threatens me. He doesn't just. He's not like, hey, I'm giving my 2 weeks notice. It's been, nice working for you, blah blah blah. No, he says, I'm out of here, and I'm gonna sue you. I'm like, what the fuck are you gonna sue me for? I didn't do nothing wrong. Right? I didn't do fucking anything wrong, but he was just trying to bust my balls. The point is, I did all that for you. time and time and time again. You know, I didn't have to buy you a bike, and then those are the things that come to mind. There was so many other things over the course of the years. You know, paid vacation that he didn't earn. You know, doing him favors, lending him money, whatever it was. You know, turning the cheek when he was late because he was drunk. Things like that. You know, I mean, there's a lot of things. And I certainly appreciated him. I appreciate all my employees. Except the shitty ones. But, yeah. And then that's what I get in return. But that's my point. Is it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter if I gave him a bike yesterday. That was yesterday. What have you done for me lately? That's what they're going to ask. And I swear that is replayed over and over and over. And while it might be more prevalent with employees because, I don't know, because you're living in California, but it happens. It happens in every aspect. When you're doing business, you need to cover your ass.
That's hot. The hottest.
That was your hot tip of the week. So, I'm still working on finding those scumbags, but in the meantime, I found another contractor that's going to pick up the pieces. But I'm already feeling uneasy about it. Is that my gut telling me something, or am I just jaded? We'll find out next week. Subscribe, like it, and I'll see you on the other side. Honestly, after this COVID shit, I don't even care about my hair. I'm on the internet and I got a haircut. This is a haircut I did myself. And it's just grown out. Heck, I didn't even comb my hair this morning. I must look like shit in front of like all my old girlfriends, all my old friends. Here you go, this is me. I don't know, what are you gonna do? Maybe it's old age. Maybe when you get old. Maybe when you get old you're like, fuck it. I mean, shit, that's what it is. Oh man, I'm old. Fuck, I remember like, when I was younger, I'm like, I don't know why these old fuckers never even like wear nice clothes or don't care what they look like. I know that if I'm ever like that, I'm not giving up. Because like, if you don't care about what you look like, then what are you? And I think I just realized right now, as I'm speaking to you, that I don't care what I look like. And apparently that's because I'm old. Oh well. I mean, I like to look good, but it's a lot of work. But I'm still the best dad, according to that cup.